Gumbel.
And I'm Terry Bradshaw.
And who is that again?
That's Stainless.
Stainless. Now, we welcome you to week 2 here on the NFL Today. With half an hour to go before kickoff, here's a look at who's warming up. Out in Green Bay, Reggie White faces Randall Cunningham and the rest of his old Eagles teammates for the first time since he flew the free agency coop. Meanwhile, in our nation's capital, Phoenix wide receiver Gary Clark returns $2 million a year richer to RFK Stadium, where he once roamed with the Redskins posse. And more memories at the Metrodome, where Minnesota quarterback Jim McMahon starts for the first time against the Bears, whom he once led to the Super Bowl championship. Yesterday, our Dan Fouts had a chance to chat with Mad Mac as the two quarterbacks engaged in a friendly game of dominoes.
What about the public persona of Jim McMahon? Over the years, you've been one of the most colorful, if not the most colorful guy in the league. How would you like to be remembered?
I think it's just a guy who gave his all and you know, played every game as to win it. You know, that's why we're here, to win ball games. I take my job seriously. A lot of people don't believe that's true just because I might just screw around in practice or, you know, joke around in a meeting or something, but I've never gone into a game unprepared, and I think they realize that.
Now you're facing your old team, the Bears. Special thoughts about that?
No, I've got a lot of good friends that still play. Well, not a lot of good friends. There's only a few guys left that play there, but you know, I know the kind of players they are, and they know the kind of player I am. So I think it's going to be a hell of a ball game. There's really only one guy I want to beat, and that's the guy sitting in the box.
That guy in the box is CEO and Bear President Mike McCaskey, and I think it's fair to say that McMahon and McCaskey don't exactly see eye to eye. One guy McMahon doesn't want to see eye to eye today is former teammate, Super Bowl 20 MVP, the Colonel Richard Dent. If the Vikings can keep Dent away from McMahon, McMahon will be a happy dude, and he'll have that measure of revenge. Greg and Terry, that's the story from here at the Metrodome.
All right, Dan, thanks. For the Bears, running back Neil Anderson, who missed all of the preseason with a pulled hamstring, will make his first start. But wide receiver Wendell Davis won't. He, along with #1 pick Curtis Conway, missed the team flight yesterday. Conway was nervous about getting lost on his way to the airport, so he asked Davis for a ride. They both missed the plane. Both made it to Minnesota, and both will be fine. Let's talk about a Chicago Bears defense that had share of problems last week against the Giants.
Well, one of the problems the Bears had is their cornerbacks and their safeties. Some were playing man, some were playing zone. And when I talked to Bob Sloat, the defensive coordinator of the Bears, he couldn't believe that happened. And Mark Carey, the free safety, calls the signals to the corners and tells them the coverage. Well, they didn't get it last week. They got beat on 2 big plays. So what they're going to do this week, Carrier will call the play, but now the corners will turn around to Carrier and acknowledge, yes, we heard the coverage change, and they'll either do cross, hands, shake a finger, or something to let him know we're on the same page. Okay?
In Houston, the highly touted Joe Montana versus Warren Moon shootout may not take place. Let's go down on the field at the Astros to deal with. Up pops a rumor that you might be headed eventually to Miami to coach the Miami Dolphins in the future. Did you see that, and what was your reaction to it?
Well, you know, you've heard those rumors for a long time. I think everybody knows I love living in South Florida, but Don Shula's, you know, happy down there. He's doing a great job, and with the talent he has, he's going to be down there for a long time.
Does that mean you'd have no interest whatsoever? Does that mean you'd have no interest whatsoever?
Right now, the only interest I have is trying to beat the Buffalo Bills.
How did we know you were going to say that? Cowboys coach Jimmy Johnson. The biggest cheers at last week's Jets-Broncos ring. Now, in this season of television debuts, Pat O'Brien makes his debut on the NFL Today. Welcome.
Thank you, Greg, Terry. Good to see you guys. We've been doing some time across the river, but for Pete's sake, we're back with a retooled, updated, expanded version of our little Sunday supplement. So while the world waits for Yasser and Yitzhak to wing their way into Washington, here in New York, it's time to raise the curtain on our really big shoe. Well, thank you, Dave, and thank you, Ed, for the use of your theater. Paul Schaefer was booked on another gig, but that's all right. We've got Vikings head coach Denny Green to jam the sticks for us. You know, Letterman might have had the Giants on to practice their fake field goals, but our kicker is Kevin Butler of the Bears, NFC by way of MTV.
Cool, man.
In his heart and on his head, Butler makes Coach Beavis, Coach Wanstead, understead, all about sticks and stones.
I take it as a positive. Being a kicker, there's a lot worse things I've been called. Most of them were directed towards my mother, so.
So, talk about buttheads. Ricky Waters of the 49ers should have known better. After butting a Steeler last Sunday, we've learned that the NFL has fined him $7,500. And while Brian Mitchell wasn't fined for this faux pas Monday night, we want to warn you that this stupid kickoff trick should be undertaken only by qualified, trained professionals.
What a brain-dead play by the Redskins! What was he doing? What was he doing? What was he doing?
I was thinking, well, you know, how can he hit that I was in the end zone? Then I looked down and I noticed where I was. So it kind of put it in perspective.
Legendary running back Jim Brown picked up some on the sideline Sundays back with the Browns as a front office suit, sort of. And when Cleveland won, why, so did he, a game ball.
I'm going to put the score on. I'm going to put it right in my office at home. I don't have any other trophies, so this is going to be my first one.
And speaking of first, here is our first ... column notes. Don't get us wrong. We love Bon Jovi doing the new Monday night opening, but if we were ABC, we'd also use Stone Temple Pilots. And please, fellas, don't waste them on a dull AFC game. Oh, and if one of the old crooners wants to give it a stab, we say, let him. And hey, isn't it great to see Bill Parcells back from Siberia after 2 years as the intellectual property of NBC. The big tuna's in rare form.
What are you doing out there? Oh, I go on vacation in the Bahamas.
And we have this kicker, Cardinals kicker Greg Davis and his wife Shauna had their first baby girl, their first child late last night. He took a red eye from Phoenix to RFK Stadium, got there at 8 o'clock this morning. That's not the only night's sleep he's going to lose. I guarantee you that.
Philip, that NFL Today maternity ward. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.